Our greatest fear is taking on water, and I'm sure that's a lot of people's greatest fears on boats, but I have seen our boat full of water, and it's something that I never want to experience ever again. Water is always going to find its way into a boat, but there's a lot of things you can do and have in place to get that water out. And as long as your boat isn't sinking, you can overcome pretty much anything else aside from something catastrophic. Cloud is a full keel, and her bilge is very deep. It's right in the center of the boat, and it's basically just a deep fiberglass pit amidships. And our bilge is pretty neglected, and our bilge pump isn't sized properly. It's not strong enough for a boat of our size. So we're gonna get down in there and clean the bilge out, excavate the old bilge pump, and soon we're gonna install a new backup bilge pump that's gonna be tied to a high water alarm. So if water ever does get above the level of our primary pump, we're gonna know about it.
Redundancy will be a key feature on Cloud, and this is our bilge.
It's so gross.
So the next challenge is figuring out how these got in the first place.
We're gonna have to take them off here. So again, this is our main primary bilge pump and float switch. We're gonna drain what's in the bottom of the bilge and clean that as best as possible. And then at some point soon, we're gonna install a backup emergency bilge pump. This is how we deal with a, I don't even know, 4 foot deep bilge, 3-4 foot deep. We have this long metal rod, which is bent at the end. And on that sits a float switch and bilge pump, which Janie is now cleaning.
All sorts of gunk, and the water is very, very cold because we don't have our hot water right now. It's like a jacuzzi.
I'm gonna take the shop back to the bilge and see what kind of fun surprises we pull out of there. One other thing I want to mention is bilge pump capacity versus size of the boat. Our bilge pump is 800 gallons per hour, which is too small for a boat of our size, especially for a bilge of our size. And you can look up charts online that give recommendations as to how many gallons per hour you should have for size of your vessel. This is not enough, and those denominations are in total. So if we need 3,000 gallons per hour, for example, that doesn't necessarily mean we need a 3,000 gallon per hour bilge pump. We just need a total of that amount. So right now we've got 800. Our backup bilge pump is 1,100, and then we're gonna have a manual hand crank bilge pump that's accessible in the cockpit, which is pretty high capacity. I'm not sure exactly how many, but that should get us to about 3,000, which I think is a pretty safe bet for our boat. I don't know what this is, but it smells terrible.
Does it say RMS Titanic? Is it all okay?
Yeah.
You don't need to check anything else?
Nope.
Okay.
I mean, we'll run it once it gets down there.
Oh, Chris.
What?
The hose came off. You
How?
did a weird jam thing and it came off. The clamp's still on.
Wow, it broke.
Alright, so we were about 2 seconds away from being finished with this, and as we were trying to cram it back down in here, the outlet that the hose was connected to snapped off. And that might be my bad from putting the heat gun to it, but either way, that happened. Wow, okay, I don't know where we stopped filming, but I think it was right after this happened. Broke off the outlet on the bilge pump inside the hose. I think everything we just did was great, but all for naught, because now we're just gonna have to replace that pump entirely. So a little frustrating, but it's all in the name of a much safer boat. Yeah. Oh, that's so much better. Okay. We've gone ahead and excavated the old bilge pump and float switch, and our new one has an integrated float switch, which is going to be nice. So I'm trying to figure out the wiring right now. I'm not a professional. Red is positive for the float switch. Green is positive for the manual switch. Right? Is that what we just said?
Right.
That means this should do nothing. That does nothing. But the switch is on. Now it should do something. Right. This should do nothing. Go to auto, should do nothing. Go to manual. That's right. Green is manual, red is auto. It's the opposite of what I thought. So I'm just using simple heat shrink butt connectors for these connections. Heat shrink, heat shrink, heat shrink, heat shrink. Everywhere on a boat, use heat shrink connectors. It's crazy how many boats you'll step on and see connections made with just normal household butt connectors. These are crucial. This is going to keep moisture out of your wired connections. Another thing I'm noticing that's really nice on these wires, we didn't put these in. These are tinned copper. You can see these are silver, the inside individual strands. That's just anywhere on a boat you're using wiring. Get tinned copper wiring. This is going to be way less prone to corrosion than just straight up copper. So I'm going to use these heat shrink butt connectors. And then as an extra layer, I'm gonna cover each one with this heat shrink adhesive line tubing. This stuff is awesome. A place like a bilge is just this dark, dank, wet area. Moisture is gonna wanna get in here. So this is just an extra layer of protection I'm gonna do on every single connection. When you're using these tubes, don't do what I do 50% of the time and forget to put it on before you make your crimp. Slide that baby on first, because you're not getting it on once you crimp this. Full test, check. This is probably overkill in the length, but you know, why not?
That's not going anywhere.
I'll take it. We are going to bolt the base onto our metal rod, and then snap it right down on the base, like that.
Want me to hold the light?
Yeah.
Hey! Hey, it's a spoon! Don't drop it. I'm not touching it. Ew, where's the trash bag? It's behind you.
Isn't that fun?
Put it directly in. Ooh!
Wait, that's not a. That's a different screwdriver. Are you kidding me?
It looks.
That is hilarious. Well, it's also broken. Wow. That's it. Come here, baby.
What are the odds
Son of a.
that we needed the same object?
That's so weird, and that I didn't feel it before.
Oh, you've got it. Oh, boy. Yeah,
I gotta get it
Get
on
it by
the-
the handle. Well, you gotta get it by the handle. The fat part.
I can't see.
Got it.
Oh, jeez. We're gonna replace this whole stretch of old hose because I have 3/4 that's new.
You already did the other one.
Just give it a pretty good crank.
Okay.
Good?
Yeah.
We're gonna just make sure that we hear it running first with manual.
Yes.
Sounds like it. Auto, I don't think there's enough water in there. There's not. But let's just listen outside to be sure that it's discharging. Yay! So what did we end up doing?
We cleaned out the bilge really well and broke our bilge pump, but that ended up working out for the best because we installed one that is more powerful than the previous.
And what are we doing next?
We are installing a backup bilge pump tied to a high water alarm, and we're gonna show you guys that in a step-by-step breakdown next time on Finding Cloud.
Yeah.